Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello everyone, welcome in to the final round of the America's League AOR Formula 1 2018. This is going to be insane. This is Curtis Kenyon, otherwise known as Ninja Rider. Austin Knight could not be here this evening as he is actually attending the IndyCar race at Coda. Should have been an awesome time for him. Hopefully he's had a blast, but this little race here should be one of the more fantastic ones, at least in my opinion. Abu Dhabi is such a challenging track. We'll go ahead and have a look at qualifying here. Just some initial images. 17 drivers did show up today. We had a couple of drivers back out. Just, you know, commitments and things going on this weekend for some people. So, final race of this season has been absolutely insane. We take a look, I'm taking a look at the points. Raven has secured the championship. He did that last week at Coda, or not at Coda, I'm sorry, at Brazil, my bad, Interlagos, yeah, at Coda on the mind. But he did secure it. Some idiot has basically secured second place, with Fluffy Dave sitting in third quite comfortably, I'd say. Triton in fourth. Z3 Mikey in fifth, and this is where the battle kind of begins. Heineken only 11 points behind Z3 Mikey. Creamy Johns 10 points behind. Muddy Waters 20 points behind, and then it gets really spicy. But Muddy Water needs to have a fantastic race here because Max KZR Racing is 1 point behind him. Tezu 1 point behind him, and Jallydun 13 points behind him. Running out that sort of battle is Intergalactic Gentleman, was 14 points behind Jallydun. Now, pretty much after that, it's an all-out war. If someone can score some points, they'll probably move up the championship order. So basically, everyone in sort of the mid to backfield wanting to have a fantastic race, score as many points as possible in order to secure themselves a better position in the championship, mostly for bragging rights, of course. Abu Dhabi, in my opinion, a challenging track. You really have to nail those apexes. You got to nail the braking points and get it just right, or else it just doesn't quite work correctly. 21 turns, a unique pit lane exit. We saw that right there. Well, we will be seeing it more there at the beginning of this the race and kind of in the middle of the race. There's a bridge that actually crosses underneath turn 1, and then you rejoin the track in turn 3, a longer sweeper, if you will, gathering speed, where they end out the first sector at 290 kilometers an hour. Creamy John's already grabbing the lead with a 134.728 here in this qualifying session. I expect those times to be posted here shortly. Been watching Jonathan AI go around the track, just circulating around. Let me just get into the game here a little bit. Gonna pull that up. 28 laps today, though. So, lots of time for a lot of action to happen. We will be kind of keeping an eye on the midfield. Creamy John still posting the fastest time for now. No one's really come close yet. Still very early in the qualifying goings-on. So yeah, we will be watching the midfield a little more than probably normal. Everybody trying to have as best races they can to try to score some points and secure those bragging rights into the next season. We don't have any news on the next season as of yet, but of course, stay tuned to apexonlineracing.com as well as at apexonracing on Twitter for all the news and notes for next season. Also, if you guys want to join, please do. It'd be fantastic to have you, especially here in the America's Cup. There has been talks of maybe bringing in another tier if there is interest and enough drivers to make that happen. Another tier would definitely open things up for a lot of drivers. Some of these drivers in particular not quite having the speed that the faster drivers have. You know, it's kind of how it is, of course, in situations like these where there are some spectacular drivers such as Fluffy Dave. Goodbye Biceps has been showing a lot of speed as of late. Some idiot, of course. Our championship winner, ACR Raven. Z3 Mikey has been showing a lot of speed as of late, as well as Triton. So those sorts of drivers would be benefited, I think, in having their own league. And then the not so, I don't want to say faster drivers, maybe the people who don't quite have enough as much time to practice, be able to have their own sort of league, more of a working man's league, if you will, to give them some fair competition and a fair shake at a win, I think would go a long way, at least in my opinion. We've gone over the points, gone over everything. Hello to everyone in the chat. I'll try to have it up and running as we go through. Obviously, as I'm clicking through the windows, I have to be careful so that the game doesn't go into the pause screen, because I am alone on this, so it will be a little bit different. For those wondering where Austin Knight is today, I mentioned right at the beginning of the stream, you guys may have missed it. He is at COTA in Austin, Texas, attending the Formula 1 race and a variety of other things going on. So he is here. Welcome him in. This will be a little bit more of a radio stream. I think we're going to kind of relax a little bit. The championship implications aren't nearly as strong, except for the middle pack, if you will. I'm sure they'll be fighting hard. I know we've been watching Jonathan AI go around the track a little bit, and that's because I don't want to switch windows. But I think it's fair to do that. Let's have a look around the field here. Creamy Johns is in the pits. Muddy Water right now securing second place. He's going to dive into the pits as well. Let's see who else is on the track. That's my bad, wrong button. James McGrath, this is Muddy Water's teammate at Mercedes. Has started to show a little bit of speed as of late. Definitely an improvement. We'll see what he can do here at Abu Dhabi. He's going to swing wide on that corner. Like he will be going into the pits? No, I think he might be letting someone by there. Not quite sure who that is. That could be Fluffy Dave. Oh, it is not. I'm sorry. Not quite sure. Fluffy Dave going off the track there. Pushing the limits. I have a feeling track boundary penalties will be a big one here. My personal experience at this track is not quite as much as some of the other tracks on the calendar. I do know that much like all of the other tracks, accuracy very important here. The one excellent feature here is it does go under a hotel. One of those kind of odd design features that this particular track has. It's just a glowing, magnificent building, I have to admit. As someone who is a bit of a fan of architecture, it's pretty cool to have a look at it. Bit of a stadium section here. Rallycross. I've seen rallycross tracks pop up at this particular section, and I believe they do international drag racing at this facility as well. Some pretty cool stuff. Raven in the chat. Raven making us wait, I guess. Tino calling for a win from Raven. Fluffy Dave with a huge cut right there. That's going to definitely invalidate the lap. Not happy with that. He's on the Hypersofts. Going for the top lap time route, if you will. Looks like he doesn't want to heat up those tires, and that makes sense. Someone letting him through there. Didn't quite see who that was. Fluffy Dave might have a chance. And I just realized we don't have any game sound, and that's okay because I just also realized that I didn't do the hot lap. So let's go ahead and have a look at the hot lap, and then we'll get back to qualifying here shortly.
Welcome along to the final AOR Hype Energy Hot Lap for the Season 16 F1 Leagues. We are on board with CRG Evo, the Xbox One Split 1 champion, as he takes us through a lap around the Yas Marina circuit here in Abu Dhabi. Fourth gear for turn 1 for a flat out turn 2, and turn 3 approaches a very demanding right-hander, which you can easily misjudge with a Ferrari driver. No fault through there. Through turn 5 and turn 6 now, cutting the curbs to absolute perfection before a sharp hairpin of turn 7. Down the first gear, just get the nose turned in. Now back on the power once again, down the first of 2 long DRS straights, where overtaking is certainly possible for all the drivers tonight with the use of DRS obviously and slipstream. 100 meter board is your marker for the sharp turn 8, and then the chicane of 9 follows, and then back on the gas once again for the second straight down towards the chicane of 11, 12 and 13. The 100 meter board is the marker once again as Ferrari brakes nicely and planted through there. 11, 12 and 13 running over the curbs very nicely indeed. Turn 14, don't want too wide an exit because an invalid lap time could await. Now through turn 15, flat out once again. In turn 16, a heavy braking zone for turn 17. The car nicely turned in. Now go underneath the hotel section for turn 18 and 19. Go very close to the wall and in towards the final 2 corners as he closes out the lap. And with it, his qualifying session around the final corner. And that is a lap around the Yas Marina circuit here in Abu Dhabi.
So as we head back into qualifying, just under 4 minutes left. It's pretty much a Ferrari-Mercedes battle at the top of the order for now. It's Fluffy Dave kind of nipping at heels. Oh! Muddy Water getting a little sideways there. Looks like he's overkicked the rear tires, and he's still going to try to set a qualifying time, it looks like. Still pushing pretty hard. Yeah, he's going to... Yeah, that's a big no-no. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of penalties right about there as the race wears on. Yeah, Muddy Water going to jump into the pits. A good idea, I think, for him. Fluffy Dave also in the pits. Looks like just about everyone is in the pits for now. We haven't had a look at Manku in a little while. in the Toro Rosso. Someone in front of him there. I think that might be Intergalactic Gentleman. Not quite sure. Gonna grab a draft off of car in front of him. Manku looking to improve, sitting 8th right now. Going inside, bit of a race here. Down the front stretch, you'd think you'd want to tuck in for that, but I guess not. Gonna get as much speed as possible. I thought that was the front stretch. That's the back side of the track, it looks like. There's multiple track layouts here at Abu Dhabi, so it could get a little bit confusing, especially for this commentator. Like I said, not a whole ton of experience here at Abu Dhabi. Great track to run. I've run it a few times, but it's been a few years. Let's put it that way. Track has been on the calendar now for 10 years. And most of my commentary experience usually comes from me actually running the track. So, unfortunately, not a whole ton of experience here. I do, and like I said before, for those just tuning in, this track does demand precision. Usually you can kind of hang, well, I mean, I shouldn't say usually, but on many tracks you can kind of hang it out a little bit and just let the car do what it's going to do. But here, especially in these tight sections, you want to be as precise as possible. Get on the brakes and the gas as soon as possible. Somebody stopped on track there. I didn't see who that was. And that threw Manku off. I don't think it was Lundqvist, bro. Was it James McGrath? No. Odd. Odd indeed. It looks like Triton coming out here. Still hasn't set a time, so this one should be good. At least you would hope so. Triton nabbing second place, a 134.329. Not bad in the last minute. He's going to back off. Raven has come out. Our championship winner. Let's go ahead and go on board. Now, I don't have the cool TV pod that Austin does, unfortunately. This is the standard one. Never did set that up, Austin. Thanks. Raven trying to warm up the tires, work the time down. All right, here we go. He's on his hot lap. Let's see what Raven can do. Some idiot is not in the server, so he cannot set a time. He had a bit of a disconnect. There has been some issues with the servers or with the connections for some reason. Don't quite know why. We saw that a little bit earlier today in a variety of different formats of the variety of different series that we run here at AOR. For some reason, I'm not quite sure why, but there was a little bit of connection issues, and maybe that has come to bite here with some idiot Heineken and Z3 Mikey not setting a time. Raven likes to have a little bit of drama, and just to see what he can do under pressure. He'll wait until the last second in order to set a time, nailing that braking zone. It's a slight lock up there. Sort of the back staging area, if you will. If you look up the track map on Google, you can see that there are quite a few. Oh, Raven overextending. That'll invalidate the lap. Oh, that's a great camera view. See the hotel overlooking the track and the marina. Imagine partying on that huge yacht with a race going on. That'd be cool. Yeah, Raven going to go ahead and come into the pits. Everyone else is pretty much retired, and that will end the session. I don't believe anyone else is out on track, but because Raven is still in the pits, the timer's still going off. They're going to back him into the garage, and that will end the session. So Creamy John's taking a pole. Fairly decisive, with only Triton being closest, and Raven not setting a time because he extended the track. Easy to do here when some idiot way down the order, our second place finisher in the championship. We'll be right back, take a short break after these messages.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
As we're waiting for the game to load, kind of a bit of an overview of the track. 2 DRS zones, one between the hairpin at turn 7 and turn 8, which is where Raven just overextended. And then after turn 9, down that sort of backstretch, if you will, 2 backstretches in a way. This one is kinked, turn 10 and all that. There will be there is another DRS zone, so I assume the passing sections, turn 8, turn 11, possibilities, turn 1, maybe turn 2 with a setup. I can tell you right now, already, everyone making their way out onto the track. Creamy Johns, your pole sitter. Looking fantastic, as always. Triton taking second place. Muddy Water starting third. Fluffy Dave, Max KZR Racing rounding out the top 5. Goodbye Biceps and Jonathan AI, the teammates, starting next to each other in the third row. James McGrath, Manku, Lundquist Bro, the 10th, not too bad for him. Natarium, Intergalactic Gentleman, and Pranky in 13th. Raven starting 14th because, well, he didn't set a time. And Heineken, Some Idiot, and Z3 Mikey also didn't set a time due to their either disconnection or just kind of backing out of the race. We don't know exactly what happened there, but this one's going to be fun to watch. We got Raven and Some Idiot starting at the back of the field, essentially. You got Triton up there in second place. We'll be contending for the lead, so the Tritonites will be super happy watching this back. Fluffy Dave starting 4th, not bad, and Muddy Water trying to finish as high as possible as well for those valuable points. Of course, in the midfield, those will be the ones to watch. Z3 Mikey has his work cut out for him. He's sitting pretty decently in the championship. He'll be trying to come back from 17th place just to see what he can do. Starting to line up on the grid. We'll stay on Creamy Johns for now. I'm not really sure if I like this vantage point. We'll have to kind of stick with it, unfortunately. The race is about to get underway. 5 red lights, and we're underway here in Abu Dhabi, the Yas Marina circuit hosting the final round of the Apex Online Racing America's Cup, and already Creamy Johns jumping out to a potential lead here, but Triton has the inside, swapping back and forth. Muddy Water trying to stick his nose in there, and Triton able to secure the position. A bit of a touch there. The race for second place. Muddy Water secures it. Creamy Johns letting him go. He had to at that point. One off the track. That's Fluffy Dave trying to make his way through the field. Getting by Goodbye Biceps. Max KZR Racing. Jonathan AI also there. And Jonathan AI with a stop-go penalty already for corner cutting. Wild start here in the midfield. And it looks like Muddy Water is challenging for the lead. Not quite going to get it there as Triton holds off the charging Silver Arrow. Through the kink here, that's turn 10. And on the binders we go. Muddy Water filling the mirrors of the leading Triton. Just to update, Raven already up to 11th. Some Idiot up to 8th, having a fantastic start, but I don't want to take my eyes off of this lead here, as Muddy Water looking fantastic right now. Go on board. Sitting in second place, get a good look at Triton and the gearbox of the Haas sitting in the lead. Fantastic race so far. Lap 1 has been completed and Triton is looking quick, at least for now. But we should mention Raven already in the pits. Unsure why that is. Let's see what is happening to Raven. Looks like he was being held. He's going to change his tires over to the softs. It looks like those are super softs. Another one in the pits. That's Manku. And Raven coming out now. We'll go back to the lead here as Muddy Water still challenging. Lundqvist Bro moving up to 9th. A great race for him. He's going to try to hold on to that for 23 laps. Or 28 laps, I'm sorry. Lundqvist Bro, we haven't really seen too much of him. He's kind of been in the backfield, having a bit of a hard time. He's not a full-time racer at all. He races in multiple divisions and sort of series here. He does a lot of rally cross and things. Oh, a bit of a, wow, that is big. He must be having internet issues or just connection issues. That might be the reason why he hasn't been able to do as good as he feels he can. I know he's been very frustrated as of late. There's a bit of a race behind them as well, and in front. Jonathan AI, Z3 Mikey, Lundqvist Bro, all just mixing it up. Z3 Mikey passed by Lundqvist Bro. These guys are duking it out for points. They know they could raise up a couple of spots just in a decent finish. Even with like a 5th place would be fantastic for him. And it looks like my timing is all off now. We'll have a look at Some Idiot, who has made his way up to 6th place from basically last. I don't remember the exact place, but it was way down the order, like final row. 6th place. Some Idiot has a point to prove here, and it looks like timing has kind of sorted itself out. James McGrath already out of the session. That'll promote Manku up to 16th after his very early pit stop. And Some Idiot trying to close in on Max KZR Racing. Max is right there. And everybody's kind of spread out. Looks like there's a bit of a fight here for 10th place as Notarium. Lundqvist Bro is involved in that as well. So it's a fight for 9th. Notarium, Intergalactic Gentleman right there. And Goodbye Biceps just holding steady. There might be a DRS pass here. Almost runs into the back of Lundqvist Bro. That'll be Notarium. Oh, there was contact. Intergalactic Gentleman got in the back of Lundqvist Bro, so Goodbye Biceps will move up. Let's have a look. Intergalactic Gentleman backing off. Pranky is behind him, so there'll be a race there, it looks like, for 12th. We watch the car cycle through. Whoa! Intergalactic Gentleman way off the track. Looks like he missed the braking point. He'll be joining the track right about there. Yep, there he goes. And Heineken now will be challenging for that. This is pretty much the battle for 10th. Really 9th, if you will, but it looks like Notarium. I'm sorry, this is Jonathan AI. I need Notarium here. Notarium is trying to close the gap here on Jonathan AI, and Lundqvist Bro has backed off. Notarium has turned up the wick just a bit. This is the fight for 9th. Let's move up to Some Idiot who's making his way through the field. Getting ready to challenge for 5th. He's within a half a second of Max KZR Racing. And I notice Creamy Johns might be challenging for 2nd place here very soon. I can see him in the distance making their way through the stadium section. Let's go have a look at that, as I doubt there will be a pass there by Some Idiot, but Creamy Johns on the inside of Muddy Water on the drag race. Muddy Water on the outside, keeps it clean. That was very nice. A bit of a lock up there from Creamy Johns, but not too bad. Creamy Johns has a terrible exit through that S. They make their way onto this long straight DRS enabled for Muddy Water. The drag race now as they duke back and forth. Let's go on board, heck. Oh my God. Leaving some room is Muddy Water. That is a dramatic view. Thank you, game. Wish it was a little earlier, if I'm honest with you. But Muddy Water has secured second place by about a half a second for now. We'll see into the next DRS zone. Somebody has, for some reason, oh, actually, no, I take it back. He's passed Max KZR Racing to now challenge for fourth. Fluffy Dave, though. Oh, yeah, no problem. Tires. That's a good idea. There you are. Someone asked about tires. We're only 4 laps into this, so yes, of course. So we got some Ultra Softs, got some Hyper Softs, some idiot on the Supers. So that actually makes sense. ACR Raven came in very early. Unfortunately, he had to pit for some reason. Didn't quite see why that was. I don't know if he chose the wrong tires or what, but he decided to go on to the Super Softs. Matter of fact, let's have a look at this. Pit strategy for this race. 7 to 10 laps for the Hypers. And the Supers will last about 15 to 18. So that should be a one-stop challenge. Now, Raven, not really known for saving tire. As Lunkus Pro pops into the pits. That's going to end up being a 2-stop race. So he's going to have to try to make up as many places as he can if he wants to challenge for a good position in this particular race. But Muddy Water, as of right now, holding down second place with Creamy Johns hot on his tail. And Fluffy Dave is right there, looking to secure a possible second place. Be a great finish to the season for Fluffy Dave, who has, I wouldn't say he's been struggling, but a lot of third places can be detrimental to the mindset, if you will. Go ahead and knock that down, and you can see the position changes. This is super interesting. Z3 Mikey starting towards the back of the pack, moving up 10 places, but our big mover right now, Some Idiot, moving up 11 spots after having retired from qualifying. A fantastic run so far for Some Idiot. We'll see if he is able to potentially challenge for a podium or even the lead. Some Idiot wanting to end on a high note as Pranky gets a stop-go penalty for the exceeded track limits. I told you that was going to be a big part of this. Whoever can keep this race clean will do very well, at least in my opinion. Another fast mover, Heineken, sitting in 10th place. Let's have a look at Heineken. The Red Bull machine. Doing fantastic, wanting to try to catch up to Notarium, who kind of gapped everyone behind him a lap or two ago. He's trying to secure his points paying position in 9th place, a little early in the race for that, but the pit strategy might work out in his favor. We'll see what he comes up with a little bit later on. That should be a battle for 7th, though, as Z3 Mikey Max KZR Racing coming through a very tight section of the track. Bit of a hair-raising moment there. We switched in right at the correct time. Let's go on board. DRS is open, and Z3 Mikey able to nail the pass. Max KZR Racing going to have to chase him down now. Keeping it clean. Good idea. Going just a touch wide there. Mikey getting a little bit of room, but he breaks late. Max KZR Racing getting on the gas a little late. And you can tell, these guys, they're not perfect. These are definite human racers. Oh, Mikey, big lockup on the inside tires. He's going to have to run wide to keep it sort of clean. Max thought about maybe going to the inside, but he decided not to Senna that thing. Luckily, he doesn't take out his competitor. This is the race for 6th place. We're 7 laps in, so the pit window should be opening here pretty quick. Well, it looks like Fluffy Dave might be having a run here, and Some Idiot has already caught Fluffy Dave. A 3-way battle for 2nd place already heating up. And we're only 7 laps into this thing. Some Idiot marching towards the front. As Fluffy Dave dives down to the inside. Muddy Water, clean racer, will probably let this one go. Not a good idea to challenge at this point. And just securing himself between him, or between Fluffy Dave and some idiot, I should say, as Muddy Water. That was a beautiful way to go about that. But now he has the DRS as he goes to the outside here. Fluffy Dave not giving up the position at all. A bit of a lockup there. Muddy Water falls back into line. Muddy Water's going to have to think about this a little bit more. Fluffy Dave, fantastic all around any track, really. Just hasn't quite had the win, really, to secure that title, if you will. As Muddy Water runs a little wide. Doesn't look like he quite has the turning radius that, say, well, Fluffy Dave or some idiot. Some idiot looking on the outside, trying to fill the mirrors up. Muddy Water will dive into the pits. Those tires were gone. I wasn't sure if that was because of his driving style, where he likes to run a little wide, but so far, this strategy by Some Idiot and Z3 Mikey, let's have a look at their tires. That's right, they're on the Super Softs, the longer running tire. So the strategy for Z3 Mikey and Some Idiot will be to try to gap as many people as possible, hop into the pits, grab the ultras when the car is light, is a great way to do this, and see what happens after that. Make these tires last as long as they can while still keeping up their pace. Z3 Mikey, it's great to see him running like he is. This is a fantastic run for him, and a great chance for him to build up some points as well. He is embattled in the championship still, just trying to secure as many points as possible. And Triton already with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He must be having a little bit of issues keeping it on the track as Frankie leaves the session. That's a little rough. Vanku also out. That's a straight DNF. Didn't quite see what happened to them, but only 3 laps in. He must have had some issues there at the start. Unfortunate for them. As it looks like there is actually a battle for 10th. Muddy Waters come out of the pits on Hypersofts. Huh. Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Hey, I wonder if that was a mistake, or unless he's trying a 2-stop strategy, which would be very interesting. He's going to have to go pedal to the metal all the way through the rest of the race. I mean, 20 laps. They'll definitely have to come in for sure. I mean, these Hypersofts don't last really all that long. And I wonder if he's just not confident. Creamy John sets the fastest lap. That was set by Raven a little while ago. Creamy John's, all right. Turning up the wick. Sitting in 6th currently. 2 laps on those Ultra Softs. And for those watching, I do like to have the interval up pretty much at all times because battles can just embroil out of nowhere. And Goodbye Biceps, Raven, Notarium gaining position because Jonathan AI came into the pits. Heineken, I don't think he's going to be able to grab that. And unfortunate for Intergalactic Gentleman, he will have a 3-second time penalty. He has been kind of extending a little bit. But this particular race, Raven about to come through. Goodbye Biceps. Raven in the slipstream. He's got the DRS open. Just cuts to the inside. The drag race is on this little downhill section. And he'll secure 8th place. For now. Remember, he did come into the pits and get those tires very early. I don't know exactly what happened with that. I wonder if the qualifying just kind of fried him up, so he's going to have to make a 2-stop strategy work. Goodbye Biceps has no answer for Raven at this particular juncture, but back to the front. Triton still in the lead. Fluffy Dave 10 seconds behind, to give or take, but Some Idiot has been hanging tough with Fluffy Dave the whole way through after Muddy Water came into the pits, and Max KZR Racing also into the pits now. From 5th place, that'll give Creamy Johns and potentially Muddy Water a position. Muddy Water going for the fast lap. He's at 138.268. It's a little early for that, in my opinion. I think you'd want to lighten up the car, burn off some of that fuel before you do that. But some idiot might have Fluffy Dave here. Fluffy Dave turning up the wick for sure. That ERS on full bore. Some idiot doesn't quite have it. Some idiot, does he leave room? He does. That's fantastic racing through some of the windiest sections in this particular series. But some idiot was able to get one heck of an exit out of that section. And fantastic pass now. Fluffy Dave still filling the mirrors of some idiot. But some idiot on the march to the front. And we're only 10 laps into this. Well, all right then. Some idiot making a statement this race, and this would be the one to do it because ACR Raven may have made a mistake in his tire selection. I believe he will need to come in. We'll have a look again at the tires. Muddy Water also on the Hypersofts. Max KZR Racing also on the Hypersofts, but Raven came in early. He's only got 8 laps on these tires, but he came in very early. He's not going to be able to make those Super Softs last as long as the end of the race, if you will. It's not going to work. Now, unless he knows something that we don't, which is honestly possible, he might be able to make those work. Let's see if we can have a look. Well, this is Max KZR Racing. Hello? Oh, it's hitting the wrong button. That might help. As Max now challenging, actually, let's have a look at this. Challenging Raven. This is for 7th place. Now, Raven hasn't really raced Max all that much. Max will have his hands full. Raven, even though he's on the harder compound, he can make this car dance, assuming his right foot doesn't get a little too twitchy. But we've also seen Max KZR Racing have a few issues here and there with consistency. So it'll be pretty much up to Max to see what he can do going up against your championship winner here at the AOR Americas League. Oh, we got a pass. DRS open. And Raven has no need to challenge that pass. Well done by Max KZR Racing. We'll kind of stay on this. Of course, everyone, in case you missed the transition from qualifying to the race, that's right. This stream brought to you by Elgato products. Oh, that was huge. Raven overcooking the brakes. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to lock up these tires. They need to last as long as they can. I think that's Intergalactic Gentleman. They're on the apron. So for now, Max KZR Racing has 7th place on lockdown. Back to our sponsorship plug, Elgato, and their fantastic line of products, the Stream Deck. A beautiful tool for those who don't want to switch out of the game screen and still have control over various things that your computer can do, including control of OBS, including control of, well, quite a bit of things. You can even have auto chat in Twitch. You can have it be a soundboard, and you can have all of that saved onto the Stream Deck without the app open. It's a fantastic little device, and I use it here to actually control these cameras and bring up the variety of things that we can see. So for those of you even thinking about getting a Stream Deck, I highly recommend it. Go ahead and check them out. Just Google Elgato at the end of the race. And of course, Hype Energy has been along this whole season. It's been fantastic having them. I really hope, we haven't had any news to the contrary or to the affirmative of if they'll be back for next season, but I really hope they are. It's been awesome having them. They gave us that little commercial that we play during all of the streams. And to be honest with you, it's very hard to find here in California. I hope they make their way into the market on this side of the country. I know the East Coast and the Midwest has it, but California has not seen it as of yet. I have tried it. It is very good, and it gave me quite the rush, and honestly, whew, it worked. It did its job, that's for sure. So Hype Energy, go check them out. Of course, you can Google that a little bit later on, but we're still watching Max KZR Racing kind of go around. We're having a little bit of issues with the timing at this particular point, but during my rant about our sponsors, it was some idiot managing to slot himself into the lead. I believe there was a pit stop by Triton. Yes, and that is what gave Some Idiot the lead. As we're waiting for the intervals to come back through. Some Idiot at this point does want to end the season on a high note. It'd be great for him to win, and from the back row. That would be insane. Now, of course, he hasn't made his stop yet, but you know he's got that thing cranked all the way to 11 to make sure that he can gap Triton. Triton's still in the hunt, at least in my opinion. Showing a ton of speed, and he comes out on the supers. Which is a good move. It's a touch early. Let's take a look. Take a look at the pit strategy one more time. 15 to 18 laps. So Triton probably pushed the tires just a little bit. But actually, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. He started on the Ultra, so with Triton going to the Supers, he's good to the end for sure. So he actually pushed the Ultras quite a long ways, but he was obviously losing a lot of time to the oncoming Some Idiot. Now Triton has to make up a 9.5 second interval. Could technically happen, I suppose. And Some Idiot is on alternate strategy. So Triton, at this point, needs to do the best that he can to save these tires. Don't be braking too late. Coast through the corners and make sure that those tires are good to go, because once Some Idiot comes into the pits, he's going to have to launch himself onto this track and get it going. And as you can see, for some reason, timing and scoring is showing Fluffy Dave one lap down, but still in 6th place. Very odd. And as of now, the battles really have spread out quite a bit. Jonathan AI trying to challenge Lundqvist Bro for 11th. Lundqvist Bro doing a fantastic... Oh, Muddy Water! Muddy Water's left the session. Oh, this is not good. He was looking so good. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Unsure what happened there, but we might have a pass here. Jonathan AI looking to the outside of Lundqvist Bro, and it looks like Notarium is right there. Yes, he is. Let's take those tires off and have a look. On board with Jonathan AI, chasing down Lundqvist Bro. Oh, Lundqvist going way outside, missed the apex on that. Jonathan AI leaving a ton of room. And that will give him that particular position. 11th place now. He's going to chase down his teammate in Goodbye Biceps. And Notarium followed through. But Notarium looking for a pass. On the inside. And make it stick. He might... Oh, he rolls over the curbs. That's not good. That's going to leave a lot of room for Jonathan AI. Unfortunately, we missed it where they crossed over each other. But Notarium on the faster tire, at least for now. Going out to the outside. This is a big challenge here. Oh, lockup. They touch. Not. Oh, my God. They're close. Very, very close. Jonathan AI realizing that Notarium is on the outside, has to cut the corner just a little bit to make sure that there is some room. But Notarium will be able to make his way through. And he, luckily, don't think there was contact, but there might have been a little bit of lag there. It's hard to tell exactly what happened between the two, but it doesn't look like there's any damage on either of them as they continue their march towards some points. And Lundqvist Bro looking to have one of his better finishes here tonight. Whoa, getting a little sideways. Notarium and Lundqvist Bro getting on the gas just a little bit much there. Gotta back off and go easy. Everyone is kind of spread out. Triton, though, has actually made up in time to Some Idiot. Some Idiot is actually in the pits. My bad. I just saw that Some Idiot right there in the pits. You saw it in the corner of your screen. Now Triton needs to crank up the volume for sure. He's only got his ERS on 3. Put that up to 5 and see what you can do. Try to gap that thing. Some Idiot still in the pits. He's dropped down to 3rd place. Z3 Mikey's also had to drop into the pits. Looks like Mikey and Some Idiot are running the same sort of setup. Some Idiot will be coming out in 3rd place. Now, Triton didn't really crank up the ERS really all that much. Instead, he opted for a 4. That's kind of it. Kind of odd, but let's see what Some Idiot now. He's come out onto the Hypersofts. Okay. I'm very confused. Correct. Oh, he's on the Ultras. That must be the camera angle. Yeah, okay, it is Ultras. Whew, I was about to say, that is very weird, but he's still going to have to make these things last, well, quite a long time. Another 16 laps as we have hit the halfway point. I don't think that's going to happen, though. The field has spread out quite a bit, but the Tritonites can rejoice. 2SRL Triton is in the lead. This would be absolutely stunning for him to take a win. Raven, though, sitting in 6th place, starting his march up towards the front. He's on the Super Softs now, but like I said before, he's probably going to have to make a run on either some Hypers or some Ultras here soon, as he's been on these things for 14 laps. Creamy John's also on the Ultra Softs for 10 laps now. Those should be going. Let's go ahead and have a look at Creamy John's, actually, in the Ferrari. Creamy John's. Let's go on board and have a look-see. And just nipping the curb there. Into the hairpin. Almost full lock. Able to late apex that nicely. Get as much speed as he can down this very long straightaway. Ten laps on the Ultras is pretty good. I have a feeling he's going to have to come in again. Looking pretty smooth right now. Going to cut the track just a little bit. Make the track as short as possible in his bid to try to catch Triton. But Triton has opened the gap up even farther. A 10.7 second lead. Heineken has retired from the session. Well, he went into the pits and then he ends up retiring. He must have had some engine trouble or gearbox trouble. I don't think there was much of a crash there, but everybody pretty spread out at this point. Some Idiot, though, looks like he might be trying to make a push for Creamy John's within 2 seconds at this point. I've seen it flash as... Wait a minute. Creamy John's, yeah, he came into the pits. Okay, it was time for him to come into the pits then. Let's see what he pops out on. Some Idiot has jumped up 14 positions now. Creamy John's out onto the Ultra Softs. Interesting pit strategies here as Max KZR Racing hops into the pits under some Hyper Softs. Comes out on Ultras. Oh, no, I take that back. He's still in the pits. My apologies, there was a position change there with D3 Mikey. He's now on the Ultra Softs. The strategy is coming about now. Some Idiot on the Ultras. Triton still on the Supers. Should be a push here, and with 10 laps to go, there is potential here for Some Idiot to catch Triton again. We could have a race for the lead towards the end here. Potentially. Definitely not going to cast or curse this one, if you know what I'm saying. Guys in the chat, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure, and I think I speak for Austin on this as well. It's been a pleasure casting this series with you guys. Of course, we will be back next season. This is just too much fun, honestly. And some great racing. And like I said, if you guys want to join in on the action, stay tuned to apexonlineracing.com, the forum, to see when the signups open up again. If there's enough racers for 2 tiers here in America, especially on PC, we will be able to run them and kind of split the field up. Of course, that's done through qualifying sessions and things like that to make sure everyone is in the correct league, and then possible adjustments from there. Muddy Water, I believe, is still... I don't think he has made it back in. Yeah, that looks like a ghosted car. That's unfortunate. The car's still running around, and we'll see what points he gets. And I have a feeling he's going to be falling down the order here pretty quickly. Goodbye, Biceps. Slowly catching up to him. Let's have a look around the field. Max KZR Racing having a decent race. 7th place. Not bad. Not bad for Max. Raven, our championship winner. Dropped back to 6th. He made a run for the top 3 there for a little while, but then the pit strategy didn't quite work out. Now he's kind of back on normal strategy. Going to run the super softs all the way to the end, but with 16 seconds separating him and the top 5, he's going to have his work cut out for him as the race begins to wind down into the waning stages here at Abu Dhabi. And this season, been a crazy season between Raven and some idiot. Both of them fighting for the top position. Fluffy Dave was there threatening for most of the season, but when some idiot and Raven figured themselves out, started duking it out for really the win, basically every race, made for some fantastic and exciting racing all season long. And it has been an honor and a privilege to be able to call these guys. Fantastic skill set between just about everyone in this field. Yes, there has been some issues and tribes and tribulations throughout the season for many of the racers, but it's all right. Just makes you a better racer and makes you more determined for next season. As Goodbye makes his way around the ghosted Muddy Water. Really, everyone is just kind of cruising at this point. Some idiot. Let's have a look and see if he is really pushing at all. And he's got to recharge his battery, so that's going to take a little bit. And he has closed down the gap to about 9.6 seconds, give or take, 9.5. But Triton, really, this could be the race of his career at this point. His first win here at AOR. Lots of people in chat have been singing his praises. I remember the first time he showed up as a substitute driver, I believe it was, and secured his position on the grid. Ran a fantastic race. I think he finished top 10. And since then, he has been very determined to improve. Just see where he ends up. And at this point, at the end of the season, he may get his first win at AOR, and that would be quite the Cinderella story. At least in my opinion. It's been great watching him work his way through this season, getting to know the setups, really kind of starting to understand the car and how it works, how to get the inputs in. The Trite Knights have been behind him the whole time. I have to remain unbiased, if you will, as I am trying to call these races, but I have to admit I am mightily impressed by 2SRL Triton. You, sir, have done a fantastic job, and I hope you're watching this back and you're able to hear us, and I think I echo Austin's sentiments as well. See him in the chat. I see you there. So, confirm or deny, if you don't mind. Triton is a generational talent. I mean, he might be. We'll see as time wears on, and I hope to see him next season duking it out with the big boys. But right now, some idiot has closed the gap, actually, to 8.5 seconds. He's dropped a second on Triton. That could be the story of the race. Creamy John's also within 5.5 seconds or so of Fluffy Dave. Now, Fluffy Dave looks like he's pretty much secured a third place as of this particular point. It depends on Creamy John's if he can catch up in the next 5 laps. That's right, everyone. 5 laps left in the final race of what is technically Season 1 of the Americas League here at AOR. Let me take a look around the field, guys. If there's someone that you would like to check out in the chat, please have a look. That's right, somebody has actually changed teams to the Racing Point, is running the Racing Point colors. At least in this particular game, is known as Force India. Is anyone in the chat who has a suggestion who would want to see which particular racer they would like on their screens? Please let me know in the chat, and we'll throw them up there for a little bit of review just to see how they have improved over the season. If I can remember all the way back to the beginning of the season, it's been some months now, to be honest with you. In my opinion, this is probably one of the longest seasons that I've ever been a part of, and racing every week has been gotta be brutal on the drivers. It's been taxing on us commentators, I'd have to say, having to miss a couple of races here and there due to life and just things that we would like to do, even business things. We had to miss a couple of races, and every time we missed a race, we knew we were missing something good, because that race was always fantastic. And honestly, it has been one heck of a season. And I think I speak for my girlfriend as well, who has watched every single race this season and how awesome this particular series has been. She's watched a lot of gaming lately, a lot of racing as of late, especially esports type racing, and has thoroughly enjoyed this particular series. And I think she speaks for basically everyone who's checked out this particular series, whether live or on the recordings in the playbacks. It's been one heck of a ride, and I can't wait for next season just to see how it goes. But back to the race at hand, and again, everyone decently spread out. Goodbye Biceps, a near 30-second gap between him and Max KZR Racing. So unfortunately, in the next 5 laps or so, he will not be able to catch Max. Max looking to have a fantastic finish here. A 7th place would be great for him. I don't have the points pulled up at this particular moment, but you can see those points and standings if you head to apexonlineracing.com and check out the America's page, and in the current race thread there will be a points table. You can check that out. In the chat saying that somebody may catch Triton on the last lap, and I was thinking that might happen maybe, but it was, at least in my opinion, I thought it was going to be a stretch, but we have been keeping our eyes off of that particular race. So let's take a look at Some Idiot and see if he is pushing the envelope a little bit. Sure seems that way. He hasn't, the last time we checked in on him, that ERS bar was just about gone, and he has been charging it and recharging it as quickly as possible. Max in 9th place, 1 point behind Muddy Water. So yeah, Max will be moving up in the points just with this particular finish, at least a position, possibly 2. I'd have to go back and look, but I can't do that right now because of, well, it'll pause the game. You don't want to see that. So Some Idiot starting to close up the gap. 4 to go though. To make it 5.8 seconds, basically 6 seconds, that's a tough ask. And Triton, you know he's watching that gap. Let's have a look at Triton. His run. Actually, Triton has a penalty. If I remember correctly, Triton had a penalty early in the race. So Some Idiot might be able to get in there within 3 seconds, and it's Some Idiot's race at that particular point. Tritonites, get on the edge of your seats and start sweating, because Triton's going to have to put the pedal to the metal and getting this thing going now. Because Some Idiot with a light car is very dangerous. He's 8 laps on the Ultra Softs, which those things are going to start to go away here pretty soon, at least in my opinion. But the Super Softs looks like they're holding fairly well. Triton not skating around all that much. He's keeping it very clean. This is smooth. Smooth as glass. I like it. Muddy Water in the chat getting all excited. Somebody will win by last lap because of the penalty. I mean, it's possible. It is definitely possible. We'll keep an eye up here, and like I said, everyone else pretty gapped out. Creamy Johns within 2 seconds of Fluffy Dave. There might be a race for third here soon. Creamy Johns is on the Ultra Softs. Those have got to be wearing out just a little bit. Actually, you know, he's catching them pretty quick. Let's have a look. Nice and smooth here. Fluffy Dave, as of late, when he does get under pressure, he does kind of falter just a little bit. So this is pretty much up to Dave to lose. He might lose a podium here. Is Creamy Johns. Oh, huge lockup as soon as we start talking about him, of course. And Creamy Johns is going to lose a bit of time there in the waning moments of this race. That's not how you do it, man. Creamy Johns, this could be big. A huge podium finish for the end of the season would be a fantastic confidence booster moving into the next one. And just to kind of fill everyone in, there's been no announcements as of yet when it comes to next season. So don't ask, Kappa. Creamy Johns backing off a little bit now, as Fluffy Dave negotiating ways around Notarium, it looked like. Some idiot is catching. Whoops, don't want to do that. Some idiot really starting to catch Triton at this particular junction. This is the time to crank it up. Or don't. Maybe he's been cranking it up quite a bit, and that's why he keeps charging the battery. There's some idiot. We're going to close this up to 3 seconds. 3 seconds is the delta at this point. If I am not mistaken, Triton did have a penalty early in the race, and that might come back to bite him, so we might have a repeat of an earlier race this season where Raven actually lost a race based off of those penalties. That's a definite possibility here, knowing some idiot. He's got that in the back of his head, and he only needs to make up a second and a touch more. So this is a race on time. Essentially, we're watching a rally. In a way, sort of. Not really, we're not watching a rally. Exclamation mark cringe in the chat, please. That said, Creamy Johns has been trying to close up on Fluffy Dave here for just a little while, as some idiot now only has about a half a second really to make up on Triton. Now, again, I'm going off of my memory. That was a little bit earlier in the race, like way early, like within the first 5 laps. So that I might be mistaken, but I could have sworn I saw a penalty there. There's the penalty. He's got a penalty again. Somebody definitely have seen that. So now, somebody is within a half a second of leading this race. He could potentially win this just based on time. This is huge. This is massive. Triton has to be kicking himself at this point because it's just too late to try to even get a gap going. Creamy Johns has actually closed up on Fluffy Dave within a second. Let's take a look at that. The Ferrari and the Toro Rosso have been kind of duking it out here on the final lap. Speaking of final laps, we're going to make sure we're ready for Triton. Cross the finish line. But Triton right now, it's definitely looking like he will not win this particular race. Now, mind you, I could be mistaken. We'll have to wait until the final results come out after the race. But Triton on the track is leading at this particular juncture, this is going to be huge for the confidence. I mentioned that before, but just being the leader on the track can be such a boost. It's unimaginable, the kind of boost that you can get. And Triton now showing a lot of confidence, makes his way onto the front stretch. No, that's the fake one. That's the fake one. Thank you, Abu Dhabi, for having 3 front stretches. The Yas Marina circuit is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful circuits. It's just like an ultra-modern sculpture etched into the desert. As ACR Raven grabs that fastest lap, cheeky. Cheeky. Still keeping an eye on the Creamy John's Fluffy Dave battle as we go under the hotel with Triton. And right here, the front stretch for Triton. There's some idiot who could be the winner of this particular race. We'll head back to Creamy John's, is now within... Oh, the ghost car of Muddy Water getting in the way of the race a little bit. That's got to be disconcerting, but Fluffy Dave holding off Creamy John's, at least for now. Creamy John's coming into the final corner. It will be Fluffy Dave taking 3rd place. A fantastic finish for him. Well done. As we take a look at our championship winner, came out on the Hypersofts. This one was about, well, it's just about the fact that he won the championship, so he didn't try super hard. He went for that fastest lap just to see what he could do. And at this point, Raven on the Hypersofts, weaving through, slaps the wall, carbon fiber everywhere. And there is a possibility we might see some donuts. We gotta pick a nice wide part of the track. No, that's actually going to complete the race. And no donuts from ACR Raven, your championship winner. But there is potential here. We're going to stick through this until this pops up. Some idiot has taken the win. Triton, just let the penalties just get to be too much for him, and some idiot has taken the win. That's not one of the ways that he likes to win, but you know, a win is a win, let's face it. But Triton leading the race pretty much all the way through it. He led for so many laps, I've actually lost count. And then just at the end, he ends up losing out. That is a tough one, but some idiot and Triton with that 9-second penalty. Some idiot didn't even need to race it. So, somebody at Triton, Fluffy Dave, Creamy John's, Z3 Mikey, ACR Raven grabbing 6th, Max KZR Racing, Goodbye Biceps, Muddy Water in 9th in a ghost car, Jonathan AI, Notarium, Blomquist Bro, and your non-finishers will be Heineken, Intergalactic Gentleman, Pranky, Manku, and James McGrath. So, Triton had a couple of more penalties than we thought, it seems. I was not expecting that, I have to admit. All right, let's take a little bit of a quick break. We'll be right back with the interviews. Don't go anywhere.
Yo, I'm feeling so fine. I'll be drinking more wine, flying high like a rocket. I got you, you got me. Do you wanna join in? My drink is free. I got you got me, and we don't know where else to be. We got no problems to worry about now. We got no others to break us down. We got no problems to worry about now. We got no others to break us down.
And so we're back, getting ready for some interviews to come through. Looks like some idiot and Triton in the commentary box. How's it going, guys? What an end to the season. Good Lord, Triton leading on the track. How did that feel for you, man?
He yeah, he just got me in the end. Nothing I can say. Just good job to him.
What was it? I thought you only had one penalty. That's why I didn't go crazy with it. But honestly, seeing you out in the lead right there, you looked very comfortable. Did you have it in your head maybe that you needed to gap a little bit farther, or were you just trying to run your race?
That was like partially in my mind. I was kind of hoping he would burn out his tires a bit, but so I was kind of maintaining some battery, saving some fuel, and then tried to push on the straights. But I mean, in hindsight, maybe it wasn't a good idea, but I kind of pit a little bit too early than I probably should have. So I don't know. And in the end, I can't really say I could have done better in a lot of scenarios. I mean, besides not getting penalties. So I just gotta take it, I guess.
Just dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties. So let's move over to you, some idiot, man. The gap, did you realize that had happened? Did you have it in the back of your head, or were you going for that track position?
I was well aware of it. Honestly, I'll say that I really don't feel like I deserve to win today. Honestly, I hate winning from penalties. That's no good.
Yeah,
it really is. I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't have minded seeing Triton win. Is what I'm saying. It's a little bit disappointing in that regard.
It's, you know, man, it's something that happens though. You said that last time too, when Raven ended up losing the race by penalties a little earlier in the season. So it doesn't surprise me that you're saying that, man. But talk about your race. What happened in qualifying?
No, that was pre-planned.
Oh, okay.
That was my plan. I was going to start from the back. Maybe I should have messaged you before the race.
No, that's fine.
I think I said something in the stream, actually. I don't know if you're looking at the chat. But yeah, that was pre-planned. I wanted to try to give you a show. I wanted to try to give you a show at least, but not sure. Hopefully I did my job.
There was quite a bit of midfield racing, and that's where kind of the points were happening, so we're sort of focusing on that. But I was keeping an eye on you. Don't worry, man. I always got my eye on you.
Oh, they were having a really nice battle. I'll say this. I hope you caught this on stream. I think it was like lap 5 to 8. They were fighting really hard for P2. I was kind of sitting back watching. I'm like, this is a nice battle. I hope they're catching it on stream.
Yeah, no,
because I think they went 3 wide at one point. I can't remember.
It was fantastic. It was a great race in the midfield for sure. It looks like we have Raven and Lundqvist Bro actually in the waiting room. Let's drag down Raven. What's up, Raven?
Hey, what's going
on? So the fans are very disappointed in you. We did not get our obligatory donuts. Or a tire smoke show. We didn't get anything.
I don't know. The only thing that I cared about is fastest lap. So
you did get that again.
I at least did fulfilled that. So that was my only concern at the end. But yeah, I mean, I was actually really happy with the start. I got pretty much perfect launch, and I went straight through the middle of a couple of people, and was looking set to be like P8 or something after the first corner. But yeah, I don't know. Just all of a sudden, I think it was James McGrath or whatever in the Mercedes. I think just lost the car or something on the exit of turn 1, and I don't know if he had contact from even further outside. But yeah, that destroyed my wing, and so that effectively ruined my race. And then somehow I got a 5-second penalty for illegally overtaking him, even though I don't think I ever left the track. But yeah, just kind of disappointing. But I was just driving around basically just to finish off the season.
For sure, man. Good. It's good to see you out there. And we actually have Lundqvist Bro waiting in the wings. Let's go ahead.
Get him on in there. Get him on in there. Why not?
Lundqvist Bro. We can barely hear you, man.
he's chatting right now.
Oh, there you go. You can
There
hear
he
it
is.
perfect now.
Nice. Well, there you go, man. Finished out the season. Thoughts?
Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed it. I came for the clean racing, and that's what came with it. I feel like I could have done it a lot better, though. I was a bit off coming into this. Just I played F1 casually, came into it, but overall, I really liked it.
Next season, what are your plans?
See, that's what I'm considering. It's either I'm going to do season 17 and see if my lucky number transmits into better results, or I take a bit of a break and then come back for F1 20.
All right. Well, you got a little bit of time to figure that out. Of course, there hasn't been an announcement yet, but historically, it's been, I don't know, 6 weeks or so between series, according to what I can find. So we got a little bit of time to figure that out. Gentlemen, it's been fantastic. Huge congrats to Raven and some idiot for taking the top 2 in the championship. All of you guys did a fantastic job. I see Austin in here listening in because he's here on his cell phone probably.
You bet I am.
There he is. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to round out the season. Austin?
Yeah?
Well, what do you got to say for yourself?
Well, thank you, everybody. Sorry I'm not there. I had some other things in Austin I had to do. So Austin's in Austin for one night only. Well, technically 3 nights, but you know.
One night show. Austin and Coda and Austin, Texas.
You bet. Well, technically, yeah.
So
you oddly sound better on your cell phone than you do on your normal mic.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Really? No. Huh?
Yeah, I'd say so.
No.
Not egregiously loud.
Oh.
All right, you wrap this up, Ninja. You wrap this up.
All right,
buddy.
let's wrap this thing up. Everyone, thank you for sticking with us through this very long season. 21 races are in the books, and the Apex Online Racing Americas League has now come to a close. ACR Raven taking the championship last weekend over some idiot and some idiot duking it out for the for the final race. Of course, it's been a pleasure, and I think I speak for Austin, who really shouldn't speak right now because there's some echo through his microphone, but it's been a fantastic ride through this season, and I can't wait for next season to start. We will see you whenever that happens. Thank you, everyone, for tuning on in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.